All right, so get ready for a deep dive into something seriously cool today.
Okay, I'm game.
AI and energy. We always hear about AI needing like tons of power, right?
Yeah, it's a huge concern.
But what if I told you that it could actually be a key part of a, you know, greener future?
Really?
That's what we're going to unpack today.
I'm intrigued. Let's dive in.
So we've got a stack of reports here about how AI is impacting everything energy related,
Okay.
like from how we make it to how we use it.
Right.
And honestly, even the most like skeptical listener might find some hope in here.
Okay, well, I'm ready to be hopeful.
Yeah. So our mission today is to really understand how AI is changing the entire energy landscape
Hmm.
and what that could mean for our future.
Sounds fascinating. Let's do it.
Okay, so first off, let's address the elephant in the room, right?
Okay.
AI uses a ton of energy. All those data centers and algorithms, not exactly environmentally friendly, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? We're talking about using a technology with a significant energy footprint to solve our energy challenges.
Exactly. So how do we make sense of that?
Well, these reports highlight something crucial, and it's that we often focus on the energy AI consumes, but not necessarily on its potential to optimize how we generate, distribute, and use energy.
So you're saying AI can actually help us use less energy overall, even with those power-hungry data centers.
Precisely. For example, think about those smart grids we keep hearing about.
Okay.
Imagine a power grid that can predict exactly when and where electricity is needed, down to the minute.
That's pretty amazing. So no more wasted energy, just perfectly timed power delivery.
Exactly. And because AI can analyze massive amounts of data, it can make those predictions with incredible accuracy. Think about it, anticipating a shit wave and adjusting energy distribution accordingly. That's preventing blackouts and reducing strain on the entire system.
It's like having a super smart assistant for our entire energy infrastructure. No more guesswork, just pure data-driven efficiency.
Precisely. And the best part, this kind of AI optimization isn't just for large-scale systems either. Buildings are getting in on the action too.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean?
Think about sensors that automatically adjust your office temperature based on who's in the room, or maybe optimizing the lighting based on how much natural light is coming in.
So like making our buildings smarter about how they use energy. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. And again, this isn't some futuristic fantasy. It's happening right now. Buildings are becoming more energy efficient, and AI is a key player in making that happen. And you know what that means, right?
Less waste, which means less demand on power plants.
Precisely. And a smaller carbon footprint overall. It's a ripple effect of efficiency.
Okay, so we've covered AI making us more efficient in how we use energy, but what about, actually creating clean energy?
Ah, you mean renewables.
Yes, solar, wind, all that good stuff.
Right, right.
But isn't one of the big challenges with renewables that they can be kind of unpredictable?
Absolutely. The sun isn't always shining, the wind isn't always blowing. Yeah, it's a real challenge for integrating them into the grid.
So where does AI fit into all of this?
Well, think of it this way. AI thrives on data, right?
Hmm.
And what better data to feast on than weather patterns?
Okay, that makes sense. So we're talking about using AI to predict when and where those renewable energy sources will be most productive.
Exactly. And not just on a broad scale either. I'm talking about analyzing historical weather data, current conditions, even microclimates to really fine-tune those predictions.
So AI is basically taking all the guesswork out of renewables, making them more reliable and efficient.
Precisely. It's all about maximizing those clean energy sources.
I love it. But I do have a question about this whole AI and energy thing. We talked about data centers using a lot of power, but all these algorithms, all that computing power, that can't be great for the environment, can it?
You're right to raise that concern. The energy consumption of AI is something the reports definitely acknowledge. However, there's a growing movement to make those data centers more sustainable.
Really? How so?
For example, some companies are experimenting with scheduling their AI computations for times when renewable energy sources are most abundant.
So like running those algorithms when the sun is shining or the wind is blowing.
Exactly. They're basically making sure those data centers are powered by clean energy whenever possible.
Okay, I can get behind that. It's like AI is giving back to the environment in a way, becoming more energy efficient itself.
Precisely. It's about making the entire process more sustainable from start to finish.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked about AI making us more efficient with energy, boosting renewables, but let's zoom out a bit, shall we? We're talking about a global energy landscape here with different countries, different needs, different resources. Where does AI fit into that complex picture?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's where things get really interesting. AI isn't just changing how we use energy, it's starting to influence how nations think about energy on a global scale.
Okay, now you're talking AI in the world of energy politics. That's a whole other level.
Absolutely, and a crucial one at that. It's no longer just a tool for energy companies. Governments are using AI to inform their national energy strategies.
Okay, so we're talking big picture stuff here. It's one thing to optimize a power grid, but navigating the complexities of global energy, that's next level.
It really is. For instance, think about resource management. Imagine AI analyzing geological data with incredible precision, pinpointing potential sources of oil, gas, even untapped geothermal energy.
So like an AI-powered treasure map for energy resources.
Exactly. But it's not just about finding the energy, it's about understanding the implications of where that energy is located. This kind of information can influence where countries choose to invest in infrastructure, potentially reshaping geopolitical dynamics in the process.
Okay, so AI is like this powerful lens that allows us to see energy resources in a completely new light, revealing opportunities that might have otherwise gone unnoticed.
Precisely. It's like having an AI-powered crystal ball, giving countries a much clearer vision of their energy future.
And not just their energy future, right, but also a glimpse into potential geopolitical shifts and power dynamics. That's some seriously powerful information.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just locating resources. The reports highlight AI's ability to predict global energy market trends with remarkable accuracy as well.
Now, are we talking about, like, forecasting how political events in one part of the world could impact energy prices on the other side of the globe?
Exactly. That kind of foresight can be invaluable for ensuring energy security and making more informed decisions on a global scale.
It's like AI is taking the guesswork out of energy policy, helping nations anticipate those ripple effects and plan accordingly.
Exactly. And it goes even further. Imagine using AI to actually simulate the impact of different energy policies. Say a country is considering a big transition to renewable energy sources.
Okay.
AI can model how that transition would impact everything from their energy grid to their national economy.
So instead of just making educated guesses, governments can use AI to game out different scenarios, see the potential consequences, and make much more informed decisions.
Precisely. AI empowers them to be more proactive, to anticipate challenges, and to explore different pathways towards a more sustainable energy future.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also, kind of precarious.
How so?
Well, energy politics is, well, political. There are winners and losers competing interests. Can AI really cut through all that noise and lead to more collaborative, globally beneficial outcomes?
That's the million-dollar question. It really is the big question. And to be honest, the reports we're looking at, they don't sugarcoat it.
Okay, so no AI utopia for energy just yet.
Got it.
Got it. What are some of those potential downsides? What should we be, like, keeping an eye on here?
Well, one thing that jumps out is that, AI can definitely shed light on potential paths to more sustainable energy, right?
Right.
But it can't erase the complexities of international relations, you know what I mean? Countries still have their own interests.
So we're not going to magically solve geopolitics with AI.
Exactly. AI might inform better decisions, but it's still up to us, governments, international organizations.
To actually make those decisions, to cooperate.
Exactly. AI gives us this incredibly powerful toolbox, but we have to use those tools responsibly, especially on a global scale.
Makes sense. Okay, so moving on a bit, we've been talking about generating energy, managing it, but what about storage?
Ah, yes, storage.
Because, like, what good is all this clean energy if we can't, I don't know, keep it somewhere, right?
Absolutely. Storage is critical, a crucial piece of the puzzle.
So I'll be honest, when I think energy storage, I think of those, like, bulky old batteries we used to have.
Right, for like toys and stuff.
Exactly. So is AI going to, like, supercharge those old things? Or is this something totally different?
You're on the right track with batteries, but AI is taking us way beyond those old school versions.
Okay, like, what are we talking about here?
Imagine batteries that last longer, way longer, charge faster.
Oh, okay. I like where this is going.
And smaller, much smaller, lighter, and made from more sustainable materials. That's the kind of future AI is enabling.
Sign me up.
Ah.
But seriously, how does AI actually make batteries better?
Well, it's all about optimization. Imagine AI analyzing massive amounts of data about how batteries perform, under different conditions.
Like temperature, how many times they've been charged, stuff like that.
Exactly. And this lets engineers develop algorithms, right?
Okay.
to fine-tune the battery chemistry, the design, and just get the most out of it.
So it's like AI is uncovering all these, like, hidden secrets about how batteries work. Secrets that would take us forever to figure out on our own.
Exactly. It's about maximizing lifespan, maximizing efficiency. And this is huge for things like, well, electric vehicles.
Right, where battery life is everything.
Exactly. But here's the thing. It's not just about making existing batteries better. AI is also accelerating the development of entirely new battery technologies.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. New batteries. What kind of cool stuff are we talking about here?
Well, think about materials with much higher energy density.
Mm.
They can store more energy in a smaller space.
Wait, are you saying that we could have these, like, tiny, super powerful batteries that make our current ones look like dinosaurs or something?
That's the idea. And get this, imagine batteries that can charge super quickly.
Okay, now that you mention it, yeah, that's always been one of the big drawbacks with electric cars, having to wait around forever for them to charge.
Right.
But if we could speed that up, that would be a game changer.
Absolutely. Though, to be fair, we're not quite there yet. This is still a pretty early stage.
Right, back to reality. But still, it's exciting to think about the possibilities.
For sure. And remember, this isn't just about electric vehicles. These advances in battery tech, they could impact everything.
Like what?
How we power our homes, how we store renewable energy on a larger scale, it's huge.
Now that you mention it, I've been wondering about that. I actually have solar panels on my roof, and it always feels like, well, sometimes I'm generating all this energy.
Right, right.
But I'm not using it very efficiently. Like, can AI help bridge that gap between, individual energy producers like me and the grid as a whole?
Yeah, it is. It's like we've got all these mini power plants, right?
Right.
On our roofs and stuff, but we're not really using them to their full potential yet.
Exactly. And that's where AI can play a really transformative role. Imagine a world where your energy storage system, whether it's a home battery or even your electric car.
Is in constant communication with the grid, like they're always talking to each other.
Okay, so I'm picturing some sort of, I don't know, high-tech friendship bracelet, but for, like, my house, my car, and the grid, all synced up and stuff.
That's the idea. But instead of friendship bracelets, it's AI algorithms doing all the hard work, constantly analyzing data.
Like what kind of data?
Energy production, consumption patterns, even electricity prices, to figure out the optimal times to store energy.
Okay.
And when to release it back to the grid.
So instead of just, like, soaking up sunshine during the day, my solar panels could be part of this intelligent, interconnected energy ecosystem.
Exactly. And here's the exciting part. This kind of AI-powered coordination, it's not just good for individual energy producers like you. It's essential for creating a more resilient grid as a whole.
So we're talking about a future where, like, instead of relying on these massive power plants, we have millions of homes and businesses all generating and sharing energy, like all orchestrated by AI. It's like the ultimate energy sharing community.
It's a pretty compelling vision of the future and one that AI is making more and more possible. Though, of course, as with any powerful technology, we have to be mindful of the potential downsides.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about those. What are some of the things we need to be cautious about as AI takes on this bigger role in, managing our energy?
Well, one that immediately comes to mind is data privacy. If all of our energy systems are constantly collecting data on, how we're using energy, we need to make sure that information is protected.
Yeah.
We don't want to end up in a world where our energy habits are being, like, monitored and exploited, right?
That's a really good point. It's like with any data, it's all about transparency and control. We need to know who has access to our energy data and what it's being used for.
Absolutely. And beyond data privacy, there's also the issue of, accessibility and equity. As we develop all these really cool AI-powered energy solutions, we have to make sure that they're affordable and accessible to everyone, not just, the wealthy or those who are super tech-savvy.
Right, so everyone could be a part of this clean energy future, not just a select few. This has been an awesome conversation, by the way.
It has.
But looking back at everything we've talked about today, it seems pretty clear that AI has the potential to, like, completely transform how we think about and use energy.
For sure.
But with all these mind-blowing possibilities, I have to ask, like, what's next? Where do we go from here?
That is the question, isn't it?
What does the future hold, beyond these advancements that we're already seeing?
Well, the sources we've looked at today, they hint at some pretty wild possibilities. Things that frankly sound a bit like science fiction.
Okay, now you've got to give me some details. What kind of sci-fi energy future are we talking about here?
Well, remember how we were talking about AI, optimizing materials for better batteries?
Yeah.
Now imagine AI actually designing entirely new types of energy storage.
Okay, like
Yeah.
what could be beyond batteries? I'm having trouble even picturing that.
Well, for example, some scientists believe that AI could be the key to unlocking things like, capturing and storing energy from sources we barely understand right now.
Yeah.
Things like, and this is where it gets really sci-fi, zero-point energy.
0 point energy. Okay, that sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
It does, doesn't it? But who knows? Maybe one day we'll be powering our homes and spaceships with it.
Yeah.
The point is, AI is really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in the world of energy.
So it's not just about, using energy more efficiently or finding new sources. It's about fundamentally changing how we think about energy itself.
Exactly. I mean, for centuries, we've relied on these big centralized power systems that are, let's face it, often inefficient,
Yeah.
unsustainable, vulnerable.
Right.
But AI is giving us the tools to create something different, something better.
A future where energy is abundant, clean, accessible to everyone.
That's the dream, right? And while we're not there yet, the progress that we're seeing today in AI and energy, it definitely gives me hope that, this dream might actually become a reality.
Yeah, I'm feeling hopeful too. This has been an incredible deep dive. Seriously.
That's been fascinating.
We've gone from smart grids to like AI designed batteries to the very frontiers of physics. It's really amazing to think about what AI might be able to do in the world of energy.
It really is. But as we've talked about today, it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we choose to develop it and use it. We need to be responsible, make sure these powerful tools are used to create a more equitable and sustainable world.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up today, I think the big takeaway here is that the future of energy, it's not something that's just going to happen to us. It's something that we have the power to shape.
I love that.
And honestly, that's both exciting and incredibly empowering. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thanks for having me.
And for everyone listening, until next time, stay curious.